Welcome to Agency for Agents, a podcast for real estate team leaders and independent brokerage owners looking to maximize profits, effectiveness, and gain freedom for their team and business. Your hosts, Christine Andreasen and Aaron Hendon, have been running one of the most successful real estate teams in the Seattle area for more than 8 years. They know building a winning team means finding ways to empower, nurture, train, and develop individual agents to discover their own power, their own agency. On the podcast, Christine and Aaron interview thought leaders in real estate and personal growth to help you impact both your performance and your teams. We know it takes a lot, and leaders and brokers that crack that code reap the rewards of success greater than any they could ever achieve on their own.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Agency for Agents. Our guest today is Mark Castley, and he's been involved in real estate now for over 15 years. He's been a coach, a mentor. He's managed high-performing teams to an extremely high level all around the world. He takes the lead on guiding the company's strategy and vision for the future, leading both our brokerage and operation teams to new heights of success. The experience that Mark's gained while working in multiple locations, he's been in Miami, Orlando, Doha. I don't even know where Doha is.
We're going to find out.
We are. And then Chi Minh City, Hong Kong, London, and Dubai. Come on. And his home city of Liverpool. His experience really shows his ability to develop real estate agents into top producing brokers and ultra successful teams. So Mark places a lot of focus, a lot of attention on ensuring agents have incredible product knowledge and are in a position to offer the best service at all times. He works closely with everyone on an individual. I know, Aaron, you want to be done, but hold on. He works closely with everyone.
I think it's great. I think he's great.
On an individual and group basis to promote excellence across the world. When he's not leading sales teams, he enjoys spending time with his wife and his daughter. He's also a keen golfer. So everybody, welcome Mark.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Third time's a charm.
How are we?
Hi, how are you?
I am tremendous. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
We're doing really well. Thanks, Mark. Thanks for working this out.
Where are you, by the way?
In Dubai.
In Dubai.
Yeah.
And what time is it?
9 p.m.
Wow. Oh, so you're 12 hours. Wow. Yeah. Fabulous.
So I get booked all the time for podcasting and all different stuff. And I was on with a guy in Huntington Beach, I think he was.
Huntington Beach, California?
Yeah. So he's 12 hours. We have an office in LA as well. So I'm always working. I was on to the missus. Look, keep the tea warm. I won't be long.
You're just going at all hours.
Yeah,
that's great place to jump in, Mark, because we talk to us about global real estate domination. You've got offices all over the world. How did you get started in that? And then talk to us about how you manage and run real estate in multiple countries, much less multiple cities.
Wait, and we want to know, where's Doha?
Oh yeah, where's Doha?
Doha. So Doha's Qatar. So you'll know more about Qatar probably the end of this year.
Where?
Qatar, Qatar, Qatar.
Oh, Qatar. Oh, yeah, it's where the World Cup's going to be.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, there you go.
Years. Good fun. Great country. Lovely people. Quite smaller country. Richest in the world, though. Per capita, it's the richest country on the planet.
Wow.
Such a great place. I'll tell you, so we're in Dubai now. We have offices in London, New York, Miami, LA, London, and Dubai. 5 offices. And it keeps me busy, right? I had a full head of hair before I started, but so our business model is really interesting because we benefit from our core market. Our bread and butter is $2 million plus. That's our high volume transactions. So when I lived in the US, the high volume transactions were in Florida. It was 250 grand. That's what it was. And that's great. It's still great business, right? You know what I mean? It's still great business. But here, because of our brand, we're luxuryproperty.com, which is such an insane URL. Right? It's just insane. So we generate luxury leads. We generate the guys with the 2.5 million budget. We probably get on average, 25, 30 leads a day above $25 million.
Oh my gracious.
A day. Right?
Where are you getting these people? This just is your advertising, yeah?
So our website, everything we do is organic. We're obviously on the portal. So in Dubai, how it's set up, there's a couple of real estate portals, 2 major portals. They do really well, and you pay them a monthly amount, and you get to list your properties on there. It's nice and easy, like Zillow, but not really. I'm not weird.
You said the Z word in the first.
No, I shouldn't have said it. You can beep her out though, right?
Okay, good. Oh, that'd be good. We should beep it out.
Redact that. But you see, the thing is, with the portals, it's a level playing field, right? Because there's a lot of non-exclusive properties here in Dubai. So if I get a listing, you get a listing, it's a level playing field on a portal. We can both put a great description, great photographs, a video, an agent tour, the price, and then you can pay for a better package. But if we've both got money, we both pay for the best package. Who wins? We're even.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like pot luck. You've got to either have the best priced, the best description, the best title, whatever it may be. We benefit from doing that as well, them 2 verticals on the other portals. But our website, we don't do any paid for advertising. It's all organic. And it produces about 50% of our lead generation comes in through our website. And we have, obviously, the URL is pretty powerful. Team here, so we've got a full SEO team that is strictly responsible for generating leads that go onto our website and decide to become an actual lead and give us their details. They want to buy some real estate. And we do really well from that because you get people at all parts of the buy cycle. You get them ready to buy right now, and you get them ready to buy in 12 months. And you just got to have a system that supports both, the now buyers and the pipeline buyers, and it works really well. And we're fortunate that in Dubai we have a full brokerage. We've got 70 brokers here at the moment. We do really well as a brokerage. Our core markets are the prime and super prime areas in Dubai, and then we have our satellite offices over in the other locations where we generate so many leads, right? Like so many. So we get people in, and I see every lead that comes in. And I'm one of them weird people who, like, my wife sends me the shop and she has to send me the message. I walk out the door and she says, "Do you need me to send you a message?" Because she's told me what to buy and I'll forget, right? So I have to have it on my phone. Walk in the shop. If it's not on the phone, I'll forget it. But I remember every single lead on our CRM right now. Like, I can tell you probably the last 50 people that have inquired on our CRM today, all over the world, just because it goes in. Like, it's just who you are. If it's money, if it's money coming in, I'll remember. If it's money going out, I'm just going to forget, right? I don't want to know about it.
That's funny. We were just talking this morning with our team on the huddle call, and I got a text saying, "Okay, our house closed. We're ready to buy." And I had to scroll back for months trying to figure out, who is this? I'm exactly the opposite. It has to be in my database or I will not remember you.
So I remember the first deal I ever done. I remember weird things because it's all about. It's funny. I was talking to the guy before. So I'm from like a really working class part of the UK. From the home of the Beatles. It's Liverpool, right? Super working class, low income. Mum was National Health Service. Dad was a care worker, very blue collar, not really entrepreneurial. So I feel like that's where it comes from. It's that like fighting spirit inside you. It's like, if I can make money, I will do that. How do I do that? And it's just in there, right? It doesn't matter how well you do, it's just always in there. But yeah, I'm weird with leads. I remember them all. But that's like the people we generate in the US, we're talking like celebs and like top level people that come through as a lead. And we were laughing about it. You see people's name and you're like, that's not really you. And then you call them and it's like, that's really you.
Really you.
So you became a lead like us, like just regular people. We go on a website, we become a lead, and then you realize that other people do the same thing. And it's just insane, right?
Well, talk to us a little bit, Mark, about how you rolled this out. I mean, here you are from Liverpool. How did you get from Liverpool to 5 offices around the world?
Dubai.
Yeah. It's funny because I thought I was going to be a footballer, soccer player, and wasn't. Mum was like, have a backup plan, Mark. And I was like, nah, I'll be fine. Okay. I'm going to be pro. Wasn't, obviously. And Dad was like, okay, you get the job. So he took me to a real estate company local on the high street and said, give him a job. 16, gave me a job as a T-boy. £60 a week, about $80 a week was my salary. And I was like, oh, I actually really love this. So I picked it up and went from there to buying my own properties and selling them. And then the market crashed and I hated it. Had no money. I said to them, she was a girlfriend at the time. I said, look, Dubai is the next stop for us. Let's go. And she was like, okay. So I came over for a month, and that like fighting spirit of you just need to do things a little different to succeed. When I landed, I was one of the only people like me here. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, it's not, there's loads of me here now, but there's not many, So people were intrigued, like, who's this guy? Like, he's got a weird accent. He's 6'4" with no hair, and like, who are you? Let's engage with you. And I benefited from that quite a bit. I set my own company up here, sold it when we found out we were having a little one, moved to the US, and I was a real estate coach in Florida, had 200 agents. And I was tasked, what the goal was. They brought me in and said, look, Mark, we've got 200 agents doing extremely well, and they want to build a team. So that's the next step, right? So you're doing 100 grand a month in GCI. That's great. How do we turn that into 300, 400, 500? What's the next step? And I really enjoyed that, because that's like, you really give them back there to somebody who needs your help. And there's nothing better, is there? I say this to everybody, all the new people that come into the company. People say, what gets you out of bed? And it's the wife and daughter, that's what gets me out of bed. But what gives me the biggest buzz in the office is helping someone. No, there's no amount of money you can give me, zero, that will beat me helping somebody. It's just the best, right? So somebody says to me, hey, Mark, how do I do this? And I say, this is how we do it. And then they go and do it and make some money and come back and tell you. It's just the best. Hey, Mark, I made some money today because of you. There's no better feeling, right? So I was doing that in the US for a couple of years. I had a 18-month-old daughter at the time. We lived in Disney. Well, we lived in Davenport, 6 minutes from Magic Kingdom. So we were in Disney 6 days a week, which was, we loved that. It was the best time of my life. And we've traveled a lot. So I've been in Canada, all over Asia, all over the Middle East. And now here at luxuryproperty.com, it's such a fantastic company. I think we're probably 10% of where we're going to be this year. I'd like to be in 25 locations this year. I feel like we've got a really good model. I think we've got a great brand. We've got a great reputation. And we do what everybody needs. We generate leads. We generate leads. We teach agents how to convert them. That's all you really need in real estate, right? The two elements is you need strangers coming into your business, and you need a system that converts them into commission checks. If you've got that right, you've won. And it's as easy. The hard part is actually doing it. And all of the other stuff we complicate it with. Sometimes we're like, oh, I know what we need to do. Let's get a hot air balloon with our face on. And you're like, just don't do it. Just don't do that. Do the other bits that make you money, And it's an interesting game, isn't it?
It really is, Mark. And I think, so look, I mean, we're, in the podcast, there's very few team owners that have, that kind of SEO, that kind of URL. I mean, luxuryproperties.com is brilliant, and it really does. And you've clearly maximized it and tweaked it so that it is now I don't know if it's a perfect funnel, but it's that world. When you were coaching those 200 agents that were doing 100K in GCI, they didn't have that kind of URL. Talk a little bit so that there's something actionable that people could take away. Like, all right, well, what is the advice for that, Jane or Joe Doe agent that's got a good business, or that Jane or Joe Doe, easy for me to say, Doe broker owner, boutique brokerage owner that's out to empower their agents? Because really, Mark, we've done this for a while, and to the one, every team leader or broker owner says exactly what you said. We love helping people. That's only in it.
It's why our whole podcast exists. We don't care about teaching somebody to sell 10 more houses. We care about empowering people to live a great life.
Right.
And it includes selling more houses, 10 more houses a month. Great. But not the intention. Right. The intention is managing brokers and broker owners and team leaders we all want the same thing. We want our people to win.
That's it.
Talk a little bit about, like, if you were coaching me as a team leader or Christine as a broker owner or someone what are the actionable places that they need to look? Clearly don't do the air balloon, stop with the bus stop signs.
Yeah, that's the first one. Don't do the air balloon. So the most common request when I got to Florida was, hey, Mark, how do I sell properties at $2 million and above? And I was like, because that's our wheelhouse. So I was like, well, you don't really want to do that, to be honest. Do you want to sell houses at $2 million and above, or do you want to earn enough money to have that work-life balance and have something that doesn't require you to be there every day? And that's the team system, right? So selling a $2 million house is great for the ego, but it's also bad for the soul, because the people you're dealing with are just a disaster. Right? You deal with people and you're just like, oh, please give me a break. There's a lot of drama attached to this, to the prime and the super prime marketplace. But the actionable things people can take away definitely from this are going to be, there's a few, what I think are the essentials in real estate. First of all, you need to be in a position where 80% of your business comes from people you don't know, from strangers.
Right.
So I don't mean do less business with people you do know. I just mean do 80% of your business with strangers. You have to have a system that converts a stranger into a commission check, and that's duplicatable, right? You can bring people in from all over the world, all different backgrounds, and you can grow into different markets because it's a duplicatable model. So you have to be doing 80% of your business through strangers. You have to monitor what you're doing through KPIs, right? Because real estate agents, we're all liars, and we all say that we're great. And when you look back, if I said to you now, not you specifically, but in general, I said, what's your 2021 like? You'd say it was a really good year. And I'd say, brilliant. And I'd say, okay, so what do we do this year to double up? And you'd say, well, last year I did well from Zillow. We don't say that word. Last year I did well from somewhere.
Realtor.com.
Realtor.com. Last year I did really well from Realtor.com. And I feel like I probably should double my spend with Realtor.com. And I say, okay, brilliant. But that's probably not the best advice, right? Because if you don't have a KPI that looks at the performance and says, well, your key performance indicators suggest that you made the most money here and you made money from Realtor.com, but maybe we need to fix that funnel. Maybe we need to change some of that process. So rather than spend more money on the ads, maybe we need to spend some more money on the process. And we'll make more money from the money we're already spending on Realtor.com. Yeah. And then we've got an infrastructure. So that's important, understanding like what your business actually does well. Because if you're a single agent, the KPIs are still relevant, but if you've got a couple of people around you, it's really interesting to see conversion rates. How many leads do I have to give agent A before he goes on a viewing? How many viewings is he showing? How many showings does he have to go on before he gets an offer? And then you can budget and say, well, I know if I spend $10,000 a month on this, on average, you're going to go on 40 showings. 40 showings give me 10 deals. I'm getting $6,000 a deal, 10 grand out, 60 grand in. This seems okay. Let's do that. It's just a sensible business decision. And then the most important thing two most important things that I realized when in the US and Canada was very much the same with this. People would say to me, Mark, I'm doing 100 grand a month, and the next thing I need is someone to make all of my phone calls for me. Mm-hmm. I said, yeah, okay. I agree. There's parts of the business that you shouldn't do if you don't need to, but also call everybody in your database first. Call them all while you're sat next to me and let me listen to what you say. And let's see where we go. So they'll pick the phone up and they'll start dialing and they're like saying all this really crazy stuff and having fights with people and all this, all the fun stuff, right? And then once they've done it, I said, what do you think? What was the common objection and what's this? And we really analyze that process. And then we say, well, now you're in a position where you've called 1,000 people. You might have had 250 conversations. Your database has some analysis to look at with common objections, with bicycles from different lead sources and all this type of information. So now if I give you an ISA and they say, hey, what would you say in this scenario? You can give some help. Because if you try and help someone, I do this it's funny. So I've got a piece of paper here, and I say, well, what does it say on my piece of paper? He said, I don't know. I said, well, until you know, you can't help, right? So you need to be able to look and go through that process before you can add value. And that's what you need to do. So I flew to Manila and spent 10 days in Manila because that's where most of the ISAs are, out of the Philippines.
Right.
And I was teaching them. They were teaching me. Great place, terrible weather at the time. There was a cyclone, they call it, sideways rain. It was really interesting. But the biggest problem they have in the Philippines is Wi-Fi connection. It's not anything. It's not work ethic. It's Wi-Fi connection. So if you don't know that and you're trying to recruit into your business and you're seeing a drop in calls and you think they're not performing, that will result in a negative experience if you haven't gone through that process. If you haven't called all of your leads, how can you help? How can you add value, And then the last actionable thing is definitely don't fight with clients.
Isn't it sad that we actually have to teach them that?
No,
this is what KP happened, right? We
have somebody that's literally just snarky with people, and she loses them. We're like, what are you doing?
Don't fight with anyone. And I tell you what, it makes me laugh. So when I moved to Dubai, people were saying no to me. And I was like, why are you saying no? There's no reason for you to be like that with me. Don't say no. Don't. And I couldn't figure out, and I read How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Sure.
Really interesting book. And I started looking more into NLP and why people say yes.
Yeah.
So how can I get you to say yes to me? And then I really developed this a lot more when I got to the US, and I was speaking to people. And I realized, when it's like the penny drops, and I was like, get it now. What people do is call for realtor.com and they'll say, hey, look, understand you're looking for a property in XYZ zip code, 450 grand, 4 bedrooms. The property you've come through on 123 Main Street, great property. And they go, the client on the other end of the phone goes, yeah, thanks for calling. Can I see it? And then the agent starts a fight and goes, whoa, before you can see the property, I need to ask you some questions. And the buyer goes, no, show me the property. And you go, no, I need to ask you questions. I said, why are we having a fight? They want to buy a house and you want to sell a house. So instead, I was like, well, don't do that anymore. What we're going to say is when they say, yeah, can I see it? You say, yeah, let's go. Do you want to go tomorrow? And they say, yeah, I'd love that. Okay, I'm going to call the seller now and book us in. Are you free at 2? Say, yeah, let's go at 2. Okay. Now, before I give the seller a call, a couple of questions he's going to ask me that I need to have the answers for are, what's your pre-qualification status? Or whatever your qualifying questions are. You give them everything they want. And it's the same thing, right? You're just not having to fight down that process. Yeah. So, and I think, you've got to do a good job for your client, right? That's it. As long as you can put the phone down and say, yeah, I've done a good job for him. We're going out seeing properties. I'm going to help him. Or, when they're putting an offer forward, if you just fill out the offer and don't attach a letter, if you don't attach an image, if you don't call the listing agent first and prep them, if you don't do all of the stuff that you need to do, you're probably not going to be successful. But, and it's a common phrase, isn't it? If you do the same thing everyone else is doing, you'll probably get the same results. I don't want the same results as everyone else. That's why it's 9:24 p.m. and I'm on a podcast to you guys because I'm learning from you right now. I'll definitely be learning things from you right now. Hopefully you guys and everyone listening is learning something from me. So that's good, right? It's good for me. It's good for you. It's 9:24. I'm having a good time. So that's different than nobody in my marketplace can compete with me when it comes to work ethic because they just can't, because I'll just outwork them. I'll outperform anyone because I will. You'll never beat me on work ethic. And that's something that I think is really important, right? You've got to step up and be the best you can be every day.
I love it. Totally.
That's awesome, Mark. And that thing about starting a fight and scripting and being interested in what people are dealing with and being a yes for them is, it's the key. And it's the same thing with us with new agents, we want them to be successful. So it's about getting interested in what they're dealing with before we hammer them. I got to learn that for myself when I'm coaching my agents, my team is to all right, what are they dealing with? Because they want to win. Those agents want to win.
That's it. Nobody wants to be a real crappy agent. Like nobody turns up and goes, I'm going to be terrible today.
I want to get fired today by clients.
Yeah. It's like nobody wants that. And then a lot of the time it's education, right?
Yeah.
It's just, or lack of. So if you don't know how to do it, it becomes quite a sore point. And there's always egos involved. So if you don't know the answer to the solution, you become aggressive. And it's like, well, I'm going to shout at you then. So I don't know the answer, so I'll shout. And it's just a mess, right? So if you can educate, we do deal clinic on a Monday, 11 a.m. Everybody comes into the office and have no idea what's going to happen. We just talk about a deal. Yeah. And I write it on the board, buy side, sell side, and we talk about what's going on. So somebody will say, okay, Mark, I've got this client, and here's what's going on. And it's not me who gives the answers. It's the rest of the team as well. So I'll say to somebody, what would you do? What do you think? Do you think this client's a time waster? Or what are they going to offer on? What's the key problems? And everybody chips in. And then what we do is we all go quiet and they have to call the client on speakerphone and use all the tools that we've just given them. We do so much business from it. But
I love that.
Love that idea.
We do a huddle every morning from 8 to 8:30 with our whole team, but I've never thought about having them go live. I love that.
It's embarrassing, but we've done so much business from it where they're looking at us and the client says something and the client agrees with something that's just been said in the room and everybody's like, yes. And they're really happy because they're making money. And that's the difference, right? So other companies, I don't know if they do that or not. Because I don't know if they think like me or I don't know if they can do that, but we do. And that's what makes you stand out, right? When you guys are doing these morning calls, it's just different, isn't it? It's different. And it gets people up and ready for the day and puts them in a position where they're like, let's go make some money.
Yeah, it's our number one. I would say it's our number one recruiting tool because if we bring somebody on one of those huddle calls with us and they see our culture, they always say, oh my gosh, you guys are so energetic. You're so alive. You guys like each other. And, it really gives them the culture of our team. So I'm with you there. It's awesome.
I love that. Yeah.
All right. Well, there's one question we always like to end with. We only got a couple minutes left, but I know it's Aaron's favorite question. And this is where Aaron and I always get so many takeaways. So go, Aaron. You can do it. It's your question.
What are you reading, Mark, or what do you recommend that people read? I mean, you said How to Win Friends and Influence People is clearly one of the sort of foundational books, but anything we've read recently that has made a difference or anything?
So this might not be a popular answer, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I've stopped reading because it takes me too long, right? So my attention, I'm a D personality, a real high D, and a book stresses me out. Because I feel like I'll complete you in 10 minutes. And I know I can't. And I get then I'll skim through the pages and I forget what's going on. So I'm not the best at reading. However,
even on audible.com while you're driving?
Tried it. I put on 2X. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. 2X. It's got to be on 2X.
I do too.
100%.
It's got to be, right? So, but I found this guy. So the wife introduced me to him. He's called Ram Dass, right?
Ram Dass, sure.
Yeah, right. Just the most profound guy I've ever known in my life. So every single day, I'll listen to one of his talks.
Oh, isn't that great?
So, right. So what it does, it's called Social Action, is the one I listen to the most. And what it does, it puts me in a space of, it just washes all the noise out. So right now, there's 65 agents. I reckon I know pretty much every deal that's going on in the office. We've got 28 in our ops team. We've got SEO. We've got digital marketing. We have content writers. I've got 5 in my management structure. All of that going on. I get home. I've got a wife, a daughter, a mother-in-law, a nanny, 2 dogs, all in the house. And then I put Ram Dass on. Just chill out, real chill. Right. And I'll listen and I'll go into I'll try and meditate and get into my own space to switch off. And that allows me to get back up at 5 a.m., because that's next, isn't it? You've got to get up and do it again. And if you go to bed with too much noise and too much going on, it's not the best sleep. And then the next day. So that's something I'm on at the minute. I've been doing it for probably 6 months.
I love
every
it.
night.
I love it.
Awesome. So have you ever seen the original Ram Dass book? Is Be Here Now?
Yeah, I've listened to the talk. So Be Here Now. That was so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, I had the chance to see him in New Mexico once, and it was just fabulous. He's fabulous.
But I like all the older stuff. Most of the older stuff I like because he's quite cheeky, right?
Yeah, totally.
But I really like him. So yeah, listen to him as much because the newer stuff. Like I love Tony Robbins. I love listening to all that type of stuff. But it can be a bit samey. The same message because it's all geared towards buying their course.
Right.
It's like every time you listen to something, it's like, oh, and you can sign up here. So there's always like a hidden agenda. And I feel like with him, it's just great.
There is no agenda. He's got nothing to sell. He's got nothing to sell, particularly nothing to sell. It's great. I love that recommendation, Mark. I love it. I'll definitely take out Be Here Now and check it out again because it's been a while since
same.
I got grounded in that.
It's been a while.
Fabulous. All right, very good. Well, Mark, I'm glad the third time's a charm worked out. I appreciate your rescheduling with us and making that work. And
I appreciate you.
It'd be great to connect with next time you're in your LA office. Let us know. We're in the same time zone at least at that point, and we're up in Seattle, so we're not down there yet, but still.
Next time I'm in, I'll come up and I'll come and meet.
We'll have a drink together.
Love that.
How fun would that be?
Excellent. Yeah, or maybe we'll be in Doha for the World Cup.
Definitely. Come and see me.
Fabulous, Mark. Being with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Abundant Life Podcast, brought to you by Christine & Company and eXp Realty, the global online brokerage powered by top agents and cutting-edge technology. If you liked what you heard, consider subscribing wherever you listen to podcasts. Your hosts have been award-winning brokers Christine Andreasen and Aaron Hendon. For more on them, visit christineandcompany.com.